You okay?
You okay?
It's about 15 minutes. You guys just follow. Nami chalo.
Oh no. Okay.
Is he in there? Then he's
I'll let you get there. So I need the keys. Please, please, please.
Okay, basically we were standing out in the front, and members of the slate from either side, they're not allowed to come into the Gurdwara, and they came into the Gurdwara, and a lot of people were opposing, saying nobody's allowed to come into the Gurdwara, and threats were made to me and to some of the people that were working with me, saying that, oh, come outside and we'll take care of you. And once the police was informed, nothing was done. Basically, we were herded, all the people that were working from our side were herded outside, while people from girls that were working from the other side were sitting in a room. We were outside, standing outside in the cold for 25 minutes when we decided we don't have to put up with this. So we came outside looking for someone in the media that we could speak to about this. And we couldn't find anyone, so then we found Staff Sergeant Molosky, and we told him. And about an hour and a half of waiting outside in the cold, he came back and escorted us inside. And ever since then, we were locked into a room, and said the other girls had complete freedom to walk in and out as they wanted to, and we had to sit in that room. And she wanted to talk to our supervisor, and he personally took her to the supervisor as if she was some sort of a child, and she couldn't.
Escorted me out there.
Escorted her out there. She couldn't even speak her mind as to what she had to say.
So you were locked in a room?
Yeah.
Well, no, there wasn't locked, but we weren't allowed to leave that room.
Pretty much.
Actually, we were locked outside. When we were outside, we were locked. There was a locked gate. We were asked to shut the door. We were standing in the cold for 25 minutes, and no one had anything to say.
We were being threatened inside the gallery.
They were saying, "Come outside." Exactly.
Yeah. So what makes you so sure, or how?
And so
how did we know that we were going to get threatened?
Is it a bias, or is it that no one has anything to listen to? I mean, we were threatened, and then we were made to look like as if we were the instigators of the event.
Well, what type of threats were made?
They were saying,
oh,
come outside.
I'll take care of you.
And these are people who are much older than us. I'm 19 years old. These people are married or 25, 26 years old, and they're asking us to come outside. Don't worry, we'll take care of you. Just because we're expressing our views, saying that according to the campaign, no one from the slate from either side is allowed to come inside, and that's like influence. They're not allowed inside the building, and they're coming inside. No one's noticing, and as soon as it was brought to the attention, they were kicked out. So it wasn't like our claims were not legitimate.
So what do you think they meant to you when they said outside?
They said, come outside so we can take care of you. That's obviously a physical threat to my safety, and we weren't allowed. There was 35 of them, in about 20 maybe, at least sitting in this room. There was 5 of us, and they were saying either you come outside, stand outside with this cage door, or you come and sit in this room with 25 of them. And I think we're a little bit smarter than that, and to know that when we're greatly outnumbered and when our safety is basically
and you're actually
in jeopardy.
Working, I see a sticker on your jacket that says clerk.
Yeah, we're actually full clerks, and we were on our break when all of this was happening, and these girls were relieving us, and 2.5 hours of that we were supposed to be working, we were outside trying to get someone to listen to us. After 2 hours, somebody listened to us.
So people are threatening you while you're taking tickets or collecting the...
No, this is as we were on our break.
And we're from the opposite slate as well. That's why so they're against
the opposing
us.
slate, right?
They're opposing slate.
So how does that make you feel?
It's very unfair. The police is taking a very biased view. It's from what I can see. Nobody even listened. No one asked, do you want to make a complaint that you were threatened? Nobody asked me anything. Basically, I was herded off, and every time I tried to speak, I was just shut up. Nobody wanted to hear anything.
Who did you go to talk to?
When I came, we weren't allowed to talk to anyone inside, so we came outside. We walked outside and we looked for some media. We didn't find anyone we could speak to, so we found what's his name, Staff Sergeant Molosky, and I spoke to him, and he went inside. About an hour later, he came outside and personally escorted us. He said, no one is allowed to kick you out. You have equal rights to be in there, and he took us back inside.
So they actually wouldn't let you back in at one point?
Right. They said, no, you can't come inside.
Our only option was to either be in the room with the 20 of them or in that caged...
Outside, in this weather, outside, when we ourselves are clerks.
Well, that doesn't seem right.
No, it doesn't.
So in other words, only one party is on their side. So you're from the opposition, so
Right.
you're not supposed to be there to witness what's happening, whether it's happening good or bad. So they can do anything they want.
Basically, that's what it seems like, yeah.
That's what they did, I think.
Well,
We've been there since 8 o'clock in the morning, all day, and we're kicked outside.
we're
as if it was,
volunteering our
nothing
time to
counted
be there,
for.
and we're completely being treated very unfairly. The police is here to maintain a very fair...
Yeah.
Well, personally, I believe that age had a lot to do with it. Like maybe they don't really listen to younger people these days and don't want to hear what they have to say. And
If you're inside, all the clerks are my age. They're 19, 20 years old, and it's not really about age. Everyone's being taken seriously. We have our supervisors in there, but by the police, maybe we're not being taken seriously. No one's listening to our claims.
ਗੱਲ ਕਰੀ ਜੀ
What did the police say to you?
The police basically, I just got some names down because I told them I wanted to make a formal complaint, and they said that would be fine, and I got a few names down, and that will be probably the first thing they'll be doing tomorrow morning, is making a formal complaint.
Chief of the police, the gentleman took
Staff
you
sergeant.
guys. Yeah.
Right, yeah.
That's the gentleman, he took you in.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And nobody, like, as we were telling our story, no one, they were pretty much annoyed with us in the first place, thinking that we're trying to cause a scene or trying to cause a riot or whatever they were trying to think. I don't know what they were thinking, but they didn't want to hear what we had to say. We had to keep going to them. As we waited outside for 2 hours, he never came outside to tell us. We still had to go back all the way up to the front of the gate and say, can someone, let us back inside now? And that's when they decided, fine, we'll do something about it.
You done? Sorry, I sort of just got into this late. Can you briefly, since it's radio, tell me what happened to you inside?
Okay, right when I was standing out in the front, when we were taking our training for becoming poll clerks, they said that anyone from either slate is not allowed inside where the polling is being done. And Balwant Singh Gill, from the other opposition, from the moderate slate, was inside for 2 hours, and I had, tried to get him out. And then later, probably, I think he was in there at least 2 hours, somebody decided to tell the police and got him out. He was out. About an hour and a half later, he came back inside, and as he came in, I was on my break, and I said, okay, he's not supposed to be in here. And his daughter said, oh, he's a temple president. I said, anyone from either slate, regardless of their position, is not allowed inside. And she began to threaten me, saying, just come outside and we'll take care of this right now. And continually saying extremely rude things, provoking me to say things to her, which I didn't say anything to her. I didn't swear at her, didn't provoke her in any manner, didn't answer back to anything that she had to say. I basically had said what I had to say, and after what I had said, he wasn't allowed actually back inside.
Do you feel you were threatened?
I was threatened, and I was swore at, and that girl, her name was Amin.
She was
Balwant's daughter.
So you feel that the president's daughter threatened you how?
She said to me, I walked away from her, and as I was walking away, she started to swear at me, taunting me, and said, if you want to take care of this, we'll take it outside. Another one of my fellow clerks, she's working inside, she threatened her. They were basically, she's about 25 years old. The girl who's working in there is 18. She came right up to her face and said, you better, let's just take this outside. And said, you can bring her outside as well.
You don't feel police handled this properly?
Not at all.
Is that who you're going to complain about tomorrow, or are you going to complain to who?
Well, I've got some complaint, I got a toll-free a number where I can call and make a formal complaint, and that's basically what I'll be doing. And no, right now we actually came out to talk to the media. So
your complaint will be against who and for what?
Against, well, basically, if I can somehow try to press charges against the daughter for threatening me in the first place, and also against the police for not taking any of our claims seriously at all. It's basically like we were a nuisance. Nobody wanted to listen to anything that we had to say.
Okay, what is your name?
My name's Angela Garcha.
Can you pronounce your last name?
Garcha.
Garcha?
Yeah.
Could you spell your first and last name?
Okay, I'll give you my actual name. It's Ajminder, Ajminder. Last name Garcha, Garcha.
You want to be known as Angela, or your?
Yeah, Angela.
Thank you.
Thanks.
I understand. You guys are tellers too.
We were stuck in the room.
So tell me what happened.
Well, they just stuck us in the room with a whole bunch of their side, and all those girls they didn't talk to us directly, but what happened was
Continually, we're still talking.
they were taunting us. They were talking amongst themselves, and as we sat there, they just sort of said things indirectly to us. They'd say things like, "Oh, look at other girls that are sitting here. They're so this and that," and they just
The dog's barking in here.
They just say rude comments, and basically they settle stuff that we're gonna win, they're gonna lose,
And were you threatened at any time?
Yeah, there were. I felt intimidated because there was a lot of them. There's only 5 of us, and they just kind of surrounded us and kind of laughing at us, and And the police officer, we told them that we don't feel safe there. Can we at least go on the backside where we'll be away from everyone? And he did not agree. He kept us in there. He said either you stay in here or you're outside in the cold.
Because there's no other room.
There's no other room.
And you're also, what were you doing in there today?
I'm a clerk as well.
You're a clerk as well. Okay. How do you think this is going so far?
It's not good. I think they're just just the power is getting to their head, and they just think it's a big game, and just they're not treating it like well, and they think we're irresponsible, and I don't like the way they're doing this.
Can I get your name?
Yeah, my name's Karen Sander.
Can you spell your first and last name?
Yeah, it's KIRANSANDHER.
Oh, sure.
So tell me, I understand you're a clerk and you were inside here tonight.
Yeah.
Can you tell us what happened to you?
Basically, I just felt very, very intimidated. Felt threatened, not just for my safety, but the people I was working with, because we were people were saying things indirectly to us, and we were kicked out, left either out. Our only two options were to be out in the cold in a caged outing, to shut the door.
Locked.
Yeah, pretty much the door locked, or in a room with the 25 of them or 20 of them. And then after being outside for like 2 hours, it was just like too much for us to handle. We decided to go back, and the police officer basically escorted me in so I could talk to my supervisor, as if I was just gonna
And
go crazy or something. Yeah, they're freely walking around.
Well, how did your supervisor deal with this?
Oh, she told us I was. I took someone's place right away and sat down, right? But before she didn't even know where we were, and
they kind of have control of everything.
yeah,
But there's like
their supervisor knew exactly where
there's
their
like 22,
people were.
23 girls in there, and they can't, be like with each person at all times. They have a lot of other people, so she tried, when we went to her, she said, okay, fine, she replaced us right away. She got someone to take our seats, but they have a lot of other responsibilities in there, so they couldn't be like coming outside. I mean, their supervisors inside, and they're not going to put the elections on.
We were working full time. We were on our break when we were kicked out, so we were just left out. Like, well, we've been here all day, and now we're counted for nothing. We're just outside. We weren't even sure if we were going to be allowed in or not.
Well, as a clerk, shouldn't you be in there?
Yeah, we were. But thing is, we had to be waiting outside to be called in. But our supervisor had no idea where we were. So once we were in the room, I wanted to let her know.
Supervisor they were taking us out.
Exactly.
No,
Go
just
back
stay
at least let our supervisor know that we were being kicked out. They said, no, you can't say nothing.
They're trying to take control of everything?
Yeah,
That you are taking control? Is that trying to...
Basically.
Well, how do you think this should have been handled?
Well, we should have been taken seriously. Yeah, had some more respect. It basically felt as we were nothing, and it was just kind of pushed to the side. And the other side was like, okay, what do you want? What do you think should be done? And we were just like, okay, this is what they chose, and this is what's going to happen.
Any decision that had to be made by polling clerks on both sides. When all of this was going on, when we were kicked out, there was only members of the other slate present. Our slate people were not even present. These decisions were made completely on their own. They were just hurting us out. We had nothing to do. They were a lot bigger than us. I mean, they're the police. We had to do what they were saying, and our members, our slate, pool supervisors were not even present.
How do you think this should have been handled?
I don't know how the confrontation with the president's daughter could have been avoided, because that's completely on her own. But when we were making our complaints to the police, nobody took us seriously. They should have at least taken time to sit down, take our names, take the names of the people who we were complaining about, at least ask some questions. Nothing was done. They stood in there doing absolutely nothing about it, and they had arrogant attitudes when we had any questions to ask them, or ask them, where can you take us, where we don't have to deal with this. No questions. They didn't answer any of our questions. It was just complete rudeness on their part towards us.
They made us look like we were at fault, that we were, starting this, and that we were provoking this. But we had nothing to do with it. We kept quiet. But because they're the president's daughters, they have power, they run everything, so they knew that whatever they do can't hurt them. That we were nothing. That whatever
so you mean
we
the
say
procedure
will
is
go
not
against
fair
them.
then?
It's not at all.
Can I just get your name, ma'am?
Sandy Sander.
Could you spell your first and last name?
First name Sandy, last name Sandher.
Yeah.
ਬੜੇ ਹੱਥ ਲਾ ਦੋ ਮਾੜੇ ਬੰਦ ਕਰਦੇ ਦਿਖਾ ਦਿਓ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਬੰਦ ਕਰਦੇ ਆ That's good. Got it?
Everyone leaves, please. Everyone leaves.
Let's go. Let's move everybody out. Let's move everybody out of here. I go in
You guys can go home now. Go home, thank you. Thank you very much.